Immersive technology is growing all around us in the shape of VR and AR. Facebook seems to be taking the lead in this industry with the release of their Horizon platform. But let's not forget about PlayStation and their role in the gaming industry. Other companies such as Zwift recently crossed the $1 billion mark evaluation with their virtual cycling app. They used this during the Tour de France this year at the height of the pandemic. In this episode, I speak to some local AR and VR developers up in Joburg who opened my eyes to the whole industry. Keep watching, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel where I'll be bringing you more interesting guests and features just like this. Enjoy the show. I haven't had a group session on my podcast yet, so this should be cool. Thanks to 2020, it's actually become a normal thing to have a group call. So I think to start, can we get you guys to introduce yourselves and just kind of in 2 minutes, just some background. Let's go with ladies first. Refilwe, do you want to go first, please?
Yeah, sure. My name is Refilwe, and as you know, I do the marketing at 180 by 2, which is a VR, XR, AR online store. We deal with that whole side of things. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Cool. Buzwe?
I'm Buzwe. I'm a junior dev at African Techno, which is a hardware and software company where we deal with mostly with VR and AR headsets and also software.
Okay.
So I have a background in traditional web development and app development.
Nice. Given?
Yeah, this is gonna sound weird, but I do exactly what Buzwe is doing.
Copy paste.
That's what just copy paste. That's what I do at African Techno. Weekly leads.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So, the thing is, when Refilwe got hold of me in the first place, which is really cool that we found each other on Twitter, she reached out to me. Thank you for that. Hey, I hate to say it, but I've obviously heard of VR. I mean, we've all seen the eye thingies, but I can't really get my head around AR yet. And then I watched the clip that Refilwe sent me, and it was, now there's an XR. So who wants to put the hand up and explain what all these are?
Start with VR. VR is more of the headsets and enclosed experience. So everything that will be happening is happening in that closed environment of the headset, you see. And then when you have AR becomes more of like a filter or kind of like a lens. So it mixes the virtual and the real through the lens. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Sort of.
So for example, if you're using, let's say for example, like TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, those filters are allowing you to mix reality. Okay. So it allows you to have an augmented reality.
Okay.
That's where the AR comes in. So now with XR, which is extended reality, which is a mixture of AR, VR, and everything in between, or MR also. So it just becomes this whole experience.
We're going to get through the alphabet at this rate.
And I think the XR is the last one because there was VR, AR, MR, XR. So
okay. Easily sum it up, XR is extended reality, which basically is an umbrella term for, like we just said, AR and VR and anything. So yeah, I think going forward, a lot of people are going to start using XR to refer to this industry of work because as time moves, both AR and VR have been like intersecting somehow. They've been working interchangeably. And yeah, like he said, AR is augmented reality. So it's something that is augmented realistically into like our real world. Mm-hmm. And it's something that has been happening for quite some time. It's not something that is new. It's been slowly being incorporated into our everyday lives. You can see it in like cars. When you reverse your car, you can see where your car is, and there's arrows pointing, directions and stuff, and navigation maps. And lately, I think the big incorporation of AR into our everyday lives was like filters, Instagram filters and Snapchat filters, and I think that like took it to greater heights because it became very accessible and as in like just
Snapchat.
Actually, another example of AR is actually this very Zoom call that we're on. All of our background filters that we're using, it's mixing the virtual with what you can see. You know what I mean? So I am reality, but my background over here is
so you're telling
virtual.
me Given's not actually at the beach?
Despite his deepest wishes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's very interesting. And guys, obviously the industry, I mean, the tech industry is just running along. And, you know, here we are in South Africa. I feel we're always playing catch up. What are you guys seeing in South Africa trends? Where are you seeing the gaps? How are you guys finding the market at the moment? Buzwe?
I was saying that mostly in South Africa, XR is being used mostly for training and educational purposes, and also maybe for games. But overseas, it's become more of a marketing tool. It's also become a tool to enrich experiences. So, for example, imagine going to the Eiffel Tower and not needing a tour guide, and just using an app that's maybe native to that venue. You know, through AR call, and then you be your own guide, having an experience that you and your family can share on your own. So it's that type of thing that maybe we're in South Africa, we're still lacking behind, in the sense of we're not really exploring the other possibilities of XR.
So Rafiel, knowing that, what are your challenges? I mean, you're obviously trying to bridge the gaps and get the knowledge out there. Is that what you're trying to achieve?
Yes, that's actually definitely what I'm trying to achieve. Is getting to a point where, because right now there is a community of VR developers, XR animators. Part of VR is 360, 360
Those cameras.
360 VR content, right? So someone will shoot actual footage, whether it's a virtual tour or films. There's films as well, and then upload it into a VR headset, and then have short films like that. There's companies like Electric South. They're based in Cape Town. They're actually having a bit of a competition. So they're having a 360 film festival towards the end of the year. And there's been unfortunately, if anybody wants to enter, that closed on the 25th. But what they're doing is things like that are bridging that gap a bit more. There's the AR Vr Hackathon, which is happening across Africa, getting students and young people involved in the development side of things, creating 360 content or VR content, but also having that mentorship to guide young developers as well. So slowly but surely, we are starting to bridge those gaps through the different platforms, whether it's festivals or hackathons. I mean, another amazing thing that's happening is, like, for example, Sisanda Tech t-shirt, which had a 360 heart on it. So now children are interacting, for educational purposes. And the heart is like how it looked like in the textbook. It's now on the t-shirt. So then the children can interact in fun ways with that kind of technology. So for our generation, we might be lagging, but for the younger generation, there's so many platforms that they can get into to get us to that point where it becomes mainstream and that bridges gaps. And that, yeah.
That's actually super interesting if you think about the learning curves that are happening. Yes, I never thought about it like that. Like, there has been a gap, but that gap can get filled very quickly at the rate that people are learning. Okay. So what advice would you guys give, Buzwe, maybe for you, like a young person watching? How would you get into it? What is the tech stack? What kind of things should they start learning?
The first thing, there's two engines that you can use to create augmented reality VR 360 content. The first one is Unity and Unreal Engine. So these are open source game engines that you can use with a variety of other tools in conjunction with them to create your own assets, to develop and to come up with your own games, training tools, whatever you'd actually like to create. So there's actually a whole bunch of tutorials online, even on the actual websites for Unity and Unreal Engine. There's tutorials and learning resources that you could use to upskill. And then, so these two tools, they do require some scripting or coding understanding, but it's very minimum in the sense of that if you have no coding background, you can actually use the tools and be able to complete whole projects without it, because they actually use scripting. So most of the stuff is pre-compiled. You just need to have an understanding of what each thing does and then put it together.
Okay. I saw, Rafil, where there's a thing for Africa Technopreneur.
Yes.
What is that?
So African Technopreneur is, as Buzwe and Given was saying in the beginning, that they are under African Technopreneur, which is the hardware and software company providing first of all the VR software, but also services in XR, which are the AR development that that Buzwe and Given are doing. The guys also did something really great, which was the Project North Star. I'll let them explain that a bit more. It was really awesome. They had this huge VR headset that augmented reality, and they did their own hand tracking game.
It looks like it's an uplifting program as well. So you're trying to help teach people. Is there like a mentorship program on that as well, I think?
Not as of yet. They did have the mentorship program previously, but that was put on pause for a bit so that they could focus on the projects that they're busy with right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let me talk about what Rafila mentioned, the Project North Star. So Project North Star is a research and development project where it's mostly about spatial mapping. So spatial mapping is about like mapping your surroundings around you and also interacting with them in a virtual sense. So the game that she spoke about, we used this piece of technology. It's called a leap motion. So the leap motion allows you to do spatial mapping. So how it works is that it's a small USB type device that you would insert in front of your maybe Oculus Rift or Quest, and then you would plug it in via USB, and then through specific drivers. So you have to download drivers for it, and then you'll be able to augment with it and also interact with it. Also using an SDK through Unity creates specific different apps or games or whatever you like to develop. Sure. And then going back to African Technopreneurs. So African Technopreneurs primarily before this year, we primarily dealt with sales of VR headsets and 360 cameras. So me and Given the first devs in the company. So basically, all the things that we're doing, it's uncharted territory, and we're just picking the landscape.
That's fantastic. So how's it gone?
Even like it's been a lot of learning, and stress and learning.
A lot of stress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me, explain it. Like, what's stressing you out? What's the challenge?
Lack of documentation. So with an example with Project North Star, it being a research and development project, there really isn't a lot of documentation around it. So you have to do a lot of sourcing of help, where you are visiting forums, you are sending DMs to people or creators of specific SDKs and so forth. So it becomes a bit frustrating because sometimes you could be stuck on the same thing for maybe 2 to 3 weeks because you don't understand exactly how you could, implement this, or because there really isn't much documentation around it. But once you figure it out and you start to understand, you also see that, hey man, what you were struggling with at the beginning really isn't as difficult.
Okay, so there's apparently a hackathon happening. You guys mentioned earlier. Rafiwe, do you want to tell us more about it?
Yeah, sure. So the hackathon, the entries opened in August and they will be closing on the 1st of November. And it's across Africa. There's 11 different countries involved, including South Africa, of course, Kenya, Mozambique, Nigeria. And the theme for the hackathon is Africa Insight. And anyone can enter. All you need is a valid internet connection, because it will be a virtual hackathon. That's how everybody's connecting. So yeah, you don't have to necessarily be like Buzo and Given. You don't have to have all the technical skills needed. There will be mentors available. And there's actually a Discord group that's already running that participants can already ask questions on whatever entries that they want to do. So it doesn't matter whether you studied fashion or you studied art. If you have a project, if you have an idea, any sort of idea that you would like to execute in VR, XR, or AR, you can send an online entry. I'm not sure if we'll be able to provide you the link to the registration form.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We can add it all into the description of the video, and we can Twitters and everything. We'll get it out there. So, am I busy looking at Team South Africa?
Yes, Team South Africa.
And you guys representing? Hey.
No, on this side, we're more of the mentors and also kind of the organizers for the South African leg. Yeah.
Okay, so behind the scenes guys, yeah.
Yes.
You'll have then given at your disposal to help you recreate Project North Star in whatever capacity that you want.
And how's the response been? Have you had a lot of people applying? Is there a lot of participants?
The response has been good across the continent. I think as it stands, Nigeria has about 200 entrants. Locally, we're still trying to pick up the entrants. It's okay, but we definitely want to get people more involved. And I think it's a great opportunity. It's in collaboration with Facebook, and Think Solution gets like $2,000. So definitely enter, guys. It's you get to learn your skills, you have the mentors there, and you get to win a great prize, to be honest.
Yeah, I think actually sorry to cut you guys off. The $2,000 actually is actually for one of the prizes for one of the is like a challenge that's going on right now, which is about GBV, gender-based violence, or just any violence against women and children. So there's a challenge that somebody needs to create a VR or AR solution that can be used to combat that. So then the winner would get $2,000. So entries close on the 31st. On the 1st of November.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. So got to get cracking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, the hackathon, just the concept of a hackathon is just such a quick learning curve for people, a great way for people to learn. So yeah, definitely if you're watching, submit, click on the link below. We'll put it there for everyone. Given you spoke about the meetings, is there a strong community out there where people are getting together on a regular basis? How can people find you guys?
There's Facebook, and there's also, you can look up on Instagram. There is a community. It's called VR, so that's what you should search on like social platforms. We meet up every last Thursday of the month, and that's where you meet up with other guys in the same space, and they can, just share like information, share their findings, share the current news. Some people display what they've been working on. At least you get, to be in the community and get feedback from other people, get to ask advice if you need advice. There's just everything you need in a small space, and just getting all the information you need from other people in whatever you're trying to work with. So yeah,
I must say for everyone that I've had on the show so far, the amount of people that talk about the meetups and communities and how to you can learn from the people at these. So yeah, it seems to be the trend. Everyone says get together, just go and learn from one another, because there's so much to learn and there's these gaps we need to fill. So yeah, 100%.
There's a lot of information.
Education economy happening, from YouTube to the podcast to the virtual meetups and all of that. I think that's probably one of the most amazing things from the most amazing gains from lockdown is that we really have now the community is no longer physically based where you and your small local book club get together. It's really across the board. You can join the meetup from Cape Town, from Durban. It's really awesome. Really awesome.
Yeah. So like, what excites you about VR and AR and XR? What is happening in the industry right now that is really, that the viewers are needing to know about? Like, what's really tipping the scale for the industry?
Okay, can I answer first?
Yeah.
I think the fact that it's becoming easier to use. It's kind of like web. I don't know if you know with websites. So if you think of websites in the early 2000s, sort of the daunting task having to create a website, but then fast forward 15 years, there's Wix, there's WordPress, there's so many different platforms that allow you to create a website. So I think even with VR, XR, MR as a whole, there's a lot of tools that are allowing people to learn, develop stuff, and who weren't necessarily in the space or even had a background in technology, and being able to create great products, great experiences. I think that's the one thing that's very exciting about XR.
Do you say there's an adoption that's coming? Obviously, the more that's out there, the more people are, if they're making it easier, that means more people are doing it. Do you see that there's going to be a bigger adoption for it? Because it's still pretty new.
I think it's not because there's more people doing it. I think that companies who are market leaders in it are actually seeing the potential in it. So by them seeing the potential in it, they kind of driving and also kind of forcing people to kind of use the tools and creating easier ways to use the tools, rather than sticking to maybe the core developers, the people who are, the traditional means of technology. Because I think even with technology, we're moving away from, everyone being smart and moving to more collaborative efforts, working in groups, So I think that's where the whole thing of trying to streamline things, make it easier for everybody to be able to use the different tools. I think that's where that comes in.
100%. I think for me, probably the most exciting thing is the speed of implementation. For me, the VR headset is feeling a lot like a cell phone. Now we're in September. Facebook just recently is announced the dropping of the Oculus Quest 2. The Oculus Quest 2 is a better headset, but it's also a cheaper headset, which Facebook is now also looking at. So if it's cheaper and it's better, now more people can use it. Now the technology is even more accessible to everyday users that want to use it for education, for mining, for their businesses. So I think that speed of implementation and that curve of it being a new technology to it slowly, really quite quickly jumping into a mainstream tool is what I find quite exciting about it.
Do you have to, does everyone have to import the stuff? There's nothing locally made, just out of interest's sake.
Yeah, it's I think that's where we come in as 180 by 2 and African Techno, because we import the stuff and then we also resell to different resellers.
Okay.
I was going to add on, you had touched on, is anybody making the stuff locally. Eden Lab, they just also released their own locally made headset, which is called the Eden Snacker. That's quite cool. Like a little thing that you attach to
handle.
Yeah, a little handle.
Screen
Yo,
that
you
goes
guys look very
along,
excited
so
about that one, eh? All your faces lit up. Yeah, that's a cool one.
That's a cool
It
device.
is
It's a
quite
cool
cool. It
device.
is quite cool.
made locally, a local companies making it. And if you look into what Eden Labs are doing, it's not just about the hardware. They're also quite impact-based technology company where they're looking into wellness, they're looking into education, they're looking into so many important spheres, not just the hardware of it, but the societal wellness. I don't know if that's a real thing, but yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at.
That's an interesting concept, actually, one on its own. I didn't even think about that, is what effect will VR have on the human psyche? Is there a study on that? Am I going down a rabbit hole here?
There is. I don't know if you've ever heard of being homeless is one of the VR experiences.
No.
So it's kind of like an empathy training. So it's where you go into the VR headset, and for 15 minutes you are living as a homeless person in I think it's one of the states in New York. So you experience everything that's happening. So the begging, hunger, cold, everything, sleeping hours, being alone.
Wow,
So it's
talk
kind of
about
like
getting some humble pie, hey?
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's so interesting, actually. And is that quite a thing? Is there a lot of that happening?
There's also other stuff like people who are kind of maybe suffering from PSD or some sort of trauma. So there's distraction training, which Eden Lab does for, let's say, small children. So kids, like for example, kids who have to undergo dialysis. So dialysis is the cancer.
Therapy, like chemotherapy, for
Okay.
example.
Yeah, like a chemotherapy type of process. Yeah, but the child has to be seated there for like 4 to 5 hours without moving. So when they're given like a headset, it distracts them from that whole process of being there. So they don't even feel them being injected or the whole process of what's happening around them. So that's one thing, distraction therapy.
It seems like everyone, well, in my first thought, VR, AR, entertainment. It's all about PlayStation. It's all about games. It's all about those kind of interactions. What you guys are telling me here is that there's some real world problems and solutions that you guys are dealing with. What's your take on that?
I think there's just a lot happening. Like the example, the things they touched on, like people with PTSD can, use like the meditation therapy to at least calm themselves. They can, if you have stress, you can, jump in that type of technology and just distract yourself from the real world and just get to experience and, the simulated world that gets you calm, or simulated world that just distracts you from your reality. And for that couple of minutes or an hour or something, you get to, just ground yourself and be like, okay, again. And with the,
yeah, no, I'm just thinking about it's your background. It really is your background. I'm just thinking like how people can sell holiday packages using VR things. Our travel companies can start saying, well, this is what it's like traveling or walking around the Colosseum, for example.
Have you used Google Earth before? Imagine experiencing a Google Earth Street View in VR. It's like literally feeling like you're at the place. So that's what I love most about VR, because you get so immersed in the experience that you forget that I actually have headsets on. Like if you're in New York, you feel like you are in New York, not that, my headsets took me to the place. So it gets so immersive, and I think I that's what I like most about it. Even when you're playing games or you're playing whatever, you just get so distracted that you forget about the outside world and just focus on whatever you're being fed. And with the technology improving, I think that's also one thing I'm interested in the XR and in the AR space. I wonder what things like the Apple AR glasses are gonna bring. I wonder what the Vuzix blades are
People
gonna
have been
bring as
talking
they like
about those
keep.
Google glasses for years, eh?
I'm waiting the Google glasses. I'm waiting for AR to say something. I mean, for Apple to say something about their AR glasses, because I think like once those drop, it might be a game changer. I had a chance to experience the Vuzix blades, which are also AR glasses. They're quite amazing. Like it feels like I don't know, you Tony Stark for like a day with those glasses. And
Yeah.
so with the improvement of technology, I wonder how, we're going to incorporate that into our everyday lives, how that is going to help us navigate everyday life with those classes. So I'm really interested in this, like what's happening in this space.
I feel like it's, they say about email was just the door to the internet when it first came around, I feel like the PlayStation or entertainment side of VR is also just going to be that introduction to all the things that are going to come in the space. Listening to you guys, I mean, I haven't really dived into this.
The lockdown has shown how VR has been like a different venture or different platform we can look into as an alternative to how we navigate working, how we navigate our just general meetings as people. Facebook just launched a beta version of their Facebook Horizon, which is this simulated world, which you also get to experience in VR. And people have been, dropping some nice reviews about it. It's just this new tech. You can check it out maybe on YouTube and stuff.
I must say you've brought up Facebook quite a lot. Are they trying to are they trying to stay ahead of the pack here? Are they trying to take the lead in the space?
Yeah,
they are.
sure.
They are. They are manufacturing most.
Zuck is at it again.
Yeah.
What's Mark up to?
Yeah, Mark has been working hard producing the best VR headsets with Oculus Quest, with the Oculus Rift, which are PC-based VR headsets, and with the Oculus Go's, which are like an affordable version with just one controller, like I don't know, a dumbed down version of the Oculus Quest, which are still great headsets, by the way, and they're quite affordable, making it easier for people to, access VR equipment. So yeah, Mark is working overtime to win everyone over.
Also, another way that people are going to be seeing it quite soon is with the integration of Instagram with Facebook Messenger. So now there's going to be a whole lot of AR stuff that you can do with people you are video chatting with and all that stuff. So it's a whole takeover basically.
Also with the Facebook portal, which is this new device that Facebook has. It's also going to come with like so yeah, Mark really working hard. He's working hard.
That's so interesting. Yeah, it's almost I want to go look at their roadmap and see what they've got in store for us there, because they're going into this space while I don't know what the other big players are doing, but I had no idea about all of these things. I'm so glad to have had you guys on today. So tell me, like, I have a light-hearted question. What is the most fun you guys have had using VR or AR? Like now let's go into the entertainment. What actually using these devices and some software? What is the most fun you've had?
I think it's for me. Oculus Quest, playing Creed. So there's this one game called Creed. Creed is it's like a boxing game. So you are Apollo Creed's son, and you are there trying to become world champion, defeat Rocky, all the different guys, and it takes you away.
Yeah, you break a sweat.
You break a sweat, and also the next morning you actually feel as if you were boxing. So you have muscle pulls, you're sore there and there,
That's so cool.
So that's the most fun, just forgetting about the real world and being transported to something that's virtual, I always think of it I don't know if you've watched the movie Ready Player One or Ready Set Go or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen the poster or whatever. I've seen it, but I haven't actually watched it. Yeah.
You see, I think of the VR or XR as that's where we're going, you know. In the next maybe 10 years, we'll be living that Ready Player One life where we don't need to meet up with each other. We just hop into a pod and we go into this simulated world where everyone is an avatar. And I think that's where it's going. You see, I think even Mark Zuckerberg, he's trying to realize that, because Devon touched on one of the platforms that they recently released, the Horizon.
Facebook Horizon. Yeah.
Yeah, Facebook Horizon. It's a platform like that. You know, even the games around it on that whole thing of it's a Fortnite type of experience, but now you this character, it's in virtual reality. You're there. So as headsets become cheaper, the technology becomes cheaper. People are gonna actually buy whole suits for it. You know. So yeah, I think that for me that's the most fun. I think the gaming part of it, the entertainment part still has the biggest part for me. Plays the biggest role for me. Yeah.
So for me, recently we did a jam session with a friend of mine, Una Rams. He's a singer, and we streamed that live from Facebook in 360. We use like an 8K 360 camera. And that was the most incredible experience for me because I was there as well. But seeing people's interaction, now this is everyday people who are fans of Una. But now for the first time they've been introduced to being able to swing your phone around to see, like, so the band was in like he had a live band while he was singing, and everybody was like in a circle around him. So now if obviously you get bored of looking at the singer, you can turn the phone around and look at the drummer. You can you can choose to focus on the keyboardist, but just that experience and bringing that kind of fresh experience to people who are completely new to this, seeing their reaction was absolutely amazing.
I think the music industry has a big opportunity here, really. There was that story about the Fortnite concert that took place where like 9 million people or whatever it was logged in for that.
The Travis Scott concert,
Yeah. So clearly there's a gap there as well, right? So people in the music industry pay attention.
There have been quite a few live performances in that. I think there was John Legend did something on through a VR platform.
I think what Musa mentioned, like playing games in VR has been like an amazing experience. But for me, I felt I was mind blown when I had the Vuzix plates for a day. I had whole day to experience, wearing like the augmented glasses and just experiencing everyday life for the glasses. And that's when I was really like taken back. I'm like, whoa, okay, this is really like some potential here. These could be great because I could receive calls, I could see pictures on my glasses, I could take pictures with my glasses. So that was like really an amazing experience. So
it's
feeling
crazy.
like Tony Stark for a day is mind-blowing.
It's like it's the stuff we saw in the movies, and now it's actually becoming real, hey? All right. So, Buzwe, Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
Refilwe, fill in the blank. Sushi is?
Great.
Given, the place you most want to travel?
Dubai, currently.
There's no palm trees, and there are palm trees in Dubai. Buzwe, what's the biggest lesson you've learned during COVID?
Time is precious.
Nice. Refilwe, next biggest technology coming out?
Definitely AR. AR is changing the landscape of things.
Cool. And then Given, what is the best book you've read that's helped you in your career?
That's a tough one. Wow. Let me see. That's helped me in my career.
Or just your best book?
That's a lot of textbooks. So I don't even know where to start.
How to win friends and influence people. social dad. So interacting with people has always been very difficult for me. So that sort of helped me loosen up just a little bit.
Yeah, that's a popular one, actually. I've heard quite a few people have read that. Did you know
Yeah.
that Warren Buffett did a course or read a book about talking in public, and that took his career to where it is today? Because he was
Yeah.
social, he couldn't talk to people. So, yeah, nice one. Was there
That's
any
interesting.
books that you can think of?
I was gonna say to you, Richard Branson, Breaking My Virginity. That's also a good one.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
I've seen
But I
that.
wouldn't say it's helped me. It has really helped me in my career, but it's helped me in other facets of my life.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's it. I've also heard good things about that. When people talk about books, I feel like I need to read more.
Mhm.
Well, guys, I'm going to cap it there, but it's been awesome chatting to you guys. I think that there's a lot of doors opening up. So the conversation is clearly going to be carrying on. So, yeah, I want to thank you for taking the time out today and explaining to the viewers. Yeah, and we will definitely share all the links and everything for your events coming up. And yeah, again, just thank you. Any parting words from you guys?
Nothing for me. Just watch your space.
There we go. I like it. Given?
Thank you for having us, man. And yeah, like Wuzo said, just watch out for 180 by 2, watch out for African tech entrepreneurs.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Refilwe?
For me, I just want to say thank you for having us. This has been, it's always nice, like, every day interacting, like doing the work, you never really get to sit back again and appreciate. So having this conversation really brought out all the things I appreciate about being in this industry. So thanks for having us.
No, it's been great. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. So keep up the hard work and best of luck for everything, guys.
Sure. Thank you.
Cool. All right. Take care. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.